Hello, Helena and Elijah. Whenever I see anybody blowing bubbles, I think of you guys. Look at this. It's your Aunt Elisa and all these bubbles. See if you can blow some. Would you be totally freaked out if you ever blew bubbles and all of a sudden my face was in there? I think I'd be kind of freaked out. Well, if you remember where we left off last time, Elisa had gotten out of the locked bathroom and we had concluded a chapter, and we were getting ready to start a brand new chapter called The Accident. Let's see what kind of accident they're talking about. Usually, when people move from one place to another, they need to hire a huge truck to transport their furniture for them. Elisa and Russell often saw such trucks on the street. Strong workers carried pieces of furniture into and out of the big trucks. When the Mitchells moved, a big moving van came to cart their belongings to their new home in Connecticut. "We won't need a truck," said Mr. Michaels, "but I'm not strong enough to carry all of our furniture by myself." "I can help," offered Russell. "Look at my muscles." He rolled up the sleeve of his shirt so his father could feel the muscle in his arm. "Not bad," said Mr. Michaels. "You can help, but we'll need more help too." Two men from a moving company were scheduled to come on the last day of August. They would take the furniture from the Michaels apartment on the second floor up to their new apartment on the fourth floor. In preparation for the move, Mrs. Michaels began collecting empty cartons from the supermarket to use in packing. Even though they were moving only 2 flights of stairs, there was a lot of work to be done before the moving men came. All the books had to be removed from the bookshelves and put in boxes. Otherwise, the movers would not be able to carry them to the new apartment. Mr. Michaels rolled up the big living room rug and started removing all the pictures from the walls of the apartment too. At the same time, Mrs. Michaels was sorting through all their possessions. "You don't play with these baby toys anymore," she pointed out to Elisa as she packed some simple wooden puzzles away. "I'll save these for the baby to grow into." She also took the books with cardboard pages that Elisa used to read and put them in the box. Elisa scowled. She didn't like to see all her old things being put away for the baby. Even if she was going to begin kindergarten next month, she still liked to play with those old toys and puzzles sometimes. Why should they all go to the baby? Elisa grabbed her box of pastel chalks. The baby couldn't have those. Elisa walked into the living room. It looked strange without the pictures that usually hung there. Picking out the red chalk, which was her favorite, Elisa began to draw a picture of a house on the wall. Mrs. Michaels gasped when she walked into the room a few minutes later. "What are you doing?" she asked, sounding displeased. "I drew you a picture," said Elisa. She stood back to see what she had done. She knew she wasn't supposed to draw on the wall, but somehow she had just wanted to do it anyway. "You know we don't draw on walls," scolded her mother. "Why don't you come help me with the packing?" Frowning, Elisa followed her mother into the kitchen. Usually, her mother admired her pictures. Even though she knew it had been wrong to mark the wall, she felt angry, not sorry. Mrs. Michaels removed dishes from the kitchen cabinets and began packing the dishes into cartons. She showed Elisa how to wrap each dish in newspaper so it wouldn't get broken. "That's great," said her mother, when Elisa carefully wrapped a cup in a large piece of newspaper. "You're a big help." "I never saw that before," Elisa said, admiring a small china vase her mother was taking down from a top shelf in the kitchen cabinet. "This was a wedding present," said Mrs. Michaels, looking at it. "It's called a bud vase, because you only put a single flower in it." She handed the bud vase to her daughter. Elisa stroked the little vase. It looked just the right size for her dolls to use if they had a flower. There were tiny flowers painted all over the outside of the vase. If you put a flower inside, there would be a flower inside and flowers outside at the same time, she thought. She handed it back to her mother, and Mrs. Michaels packed it away. After a while, Mrs. Michaels remembered that she had to arrange with the telephone company to have their phone calls come to their new apartment. While her mother was speaking on the phone, Elisa rummaged through the carton of wrapped dishes and looked for the little bud vase. She removed the newspaper that was protecting it and admired the vase again. It was so small and pretty, more like a toy than something that belonged to a grown-up. She wished that it was hers. She would fill it with water and put a little flower inside for her dolls. Elisa didn't have any flowers, but she thought she could still put some water inside the vase. She took it and went into the bathroom. In the bathroom was a small stool, which she used when she washed her hands at the sink. She pushed the stool into position and stood on it. Then she turned on the water faucet so she could fill the vase. But while she was filling it, the little bud vase slipped out of Elisa's wet hand and crashed into the basin. I guess that was the accident they were talking about. And here's a picture of Elisa. Look how horrified she looks because she knows that she dropped that vase that was her mother's wedding present into the sink. Well, I guess you'll have to come back next time to find out what the heck Elisa does now that she's broken her mother's vase. See you next time. Love you guys and miss you.